How are you guys doing tonight? Or morning, or afternoon, or whenever you're watching this. It is the week of Halloween. Very spooky. And in Indianapolis right now, it is 52 degrees. It is almost 8:30 on Sunday evening. And it is extremely windy outside. And it's very Halloweenish. The leaves are blowing everywhere. Most of the trees have changed colors. It's a spooky night. Alex is at home. He is getting caught up on The Haunting of Hill House because I've watched like 2.5 episodes of it now. So we may watch the rest of it together. I really, really like it. I think it's really well done. I had said on here last night that Tanya said that Steven Spielberg said it was one of the scariest things he's ever seen. I don't know if I would say it's one of the scariest things I've ever seen. It's pretty scary. But it's scary in that there's a lot of jump scares, you know? Things jump out at you and stuff like that. So, psychologically, the story I think is kind of interesting. The family reminds me, if you watch Bloodline on Netflix, for some reason, it kind of reminds me of that family a little bit. So if you liked that show, you'll probably like this one. I'm going to do, for tomorrow, for my movie Monday, I'm going to do a review of Making a Murderer. And then next week, we'll either go see a movie, or I will do my review of The Haunting of Hill House. If I get Haunting of Hill House done before then, my husband will probably have it done tonight. Watch. I'll come back and he'll be like, "Oh, I already finished." He watches. He literally yesterday and today he watched The Elites in 2 days. He just loves to like binge watch series. So we had a good day today. We got up. We went to brunch. And we had our regular. He had his Cuban breakfast and chili, and I had an omelet with a bagel and potatoes. I ate all of my omelet, one half of my bagel, and very little of my potatoes. They gave me so many potatoes, and the car right now smells like potatoes because I actually left my take-home thing in the car, and I just took it into the refrigerator right before I left. And it was fun. And then after that, I went to, he wanted to finish that Elite show. So I went to Half Price Books and I got 2 James Patterson books. Step on a Crack, which is the first one in that Michael Bennett series. It's really weird. Like, I think I've read it before. I remember like I'm like literally a page and a half into the book, but I remember like a detective coming into their house, and like I read the back of it. It's about this guy that he like has adopted all these kids or fosters all these kids or something, and he's a detective. But if it starts off that way, I feel like I've read this book. I hope not. I wanted to get something I hadn't read. And then I got another one of his. It's a standalone. I can't remember what it's called. But it's about this female detective, and she sees all these crimes connected all across the country. If you're a James Patterson fan out there, you probably know what I'm talking about and you've read it. And then I had to go to another store to get something for a drama video that I'm doing. Yes, get ready, because the drama videos are coming back this week, but I'm going to do one tomorrow. The drama videos are coming back. Doing that tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, then I came home and I took a nap. A really long nap, like 2 hours, and it was fantastic. And then I'm vlogging now early because I think I'm gonna go home and do a live stream early. And then I don't know what I'm gonna do. Alex said he's going to bed early. He said he's really tired from this weekend. I said, "You're going to bed like this early?" He goes, I'm tired. So I am either going to, I don't know, go see what Tanya's doing, or maybe run up to the casino and meet my friend Valerie, or I don't know. We'll just see. Maybe read. Maybe just sit at home and watch Haunting of Hill House. I had gained like 3 pounds back, and I woke up today and I was like down 2 pounds. I was at like 231. I had gotten down to like 226, and then I gained all that weight back, and I've been about 230, 231, but like a couple days ago I like shot a couple pounds back up. But yesterday, after eating pumpkin donuts and pasta and and cheese and all this kind of stuff, I lost a bunch of weight. I don't understand how, but I did. I'm really thinking about starting on November 1st doing a raw foods cleanse diet, like how I did it a couple years ago. I did it a couple years ago actually in November, and I did it all the way through Thanksgiving, and then I just stopped after that. But I'm not thinking about doing it that long. I'm thinking about doing maybe just like 3 or 4 days, or as long as, you know, I can make it. The one exception that I made last time when I did it, and I would do the same thing this time, was that I drank coffee. But when I went through and I got like iced coffees, and I wouldn't get the classic syrup, and I wouldn't get any equal in it. I would just drink coffee for the week that I was doing the cleanse. So it was literally like, you know, just black coffee. But I'm thinking about doing that, and yeah, that's about it. It's been a fun weekend. And we have Halloween on Wednesday, and I was texting with Liliana today, and I asked her what time the kids are going trick-or-treating, and she told me, and so I'm gonna go over there, and then Alex is gonna meet me there, because he works late on Wednesdays, but he's gonna get off early so he can meet me over there, and then we're gonna go to Melissa and Jason's, because we go over there, and our friends are over there, Aaron and Eric and Melissa and Jason, and then we do like chili and we watch something on TV. It'll be fun. I'm excited about it. My car doesn't know whether to decide if it wants to be warm or cold today. But I actually have it on the defrost, and it's like really toasty in here. It's really toasty and warm. It was a fun weekend. I feel like I've done so much stuff. Next weekend we were supposed to go to Chicago to go and see Trisha live, but I was kind of waiting to see when my nephew Carlitos' birthday party was going to be, and they're not having it next weekend. My sponsor's also giving a lead next weekend, and then we have one other thing we're supposed to do next weekend, so it doesn't look like we're going to be able to go to Chicago next weekend. Maybe another time. It's his 6th birthday. So anyway, I feel like this week the temperature is supposed to drop a lot, and it's supposed to get really, really cold. How are you guys doing on Monday? Are you having a good week? You know, it was interesting because I went to, like, this weekend I went to Party City, and I went to all these Halloween stores, and I was at the mall, and I had to go to the mall today, and the mall this weekend was packed with people, like, you know, looking for Halloween costumes and going shopping and stuff. The mall today was dead. I mean, it was dead. I had no problem getting a close parking space. I couldn't believe it. Well, there was also a Colts game in Indianapolis today, I think. Was there a home... Whenever there's a home Colts game, the entire city is shut down. I think because half the town goes to the show, I was gonna say. Half the people go to the games, and then the other half are at home watching it and stuff. Tanya went out to dinner with a friend of hers tonight that she was supposed to go out to dinner with last night. But she went really early because she called me at like 4:30, 4:45, and she was like, I'm on my way there now. So she's probably long home by now. This is my coffee from earlier today, and let me tell you, okay? So this is called coconut something coffee. And I am not a coconut fan whatsoever. And Alex was telling me when I said it, because I told him at the restaurant, I was like, oh my God, I've never had this coffee here before. I've seen it there, but I've never gotten it. Because they always have like 4 different kinds of coffee. And it's kind of like a self-serve coffee little bar that they have. And so I got it today because I wanted to try something different. I wanted something with flavor in it. And the other ones, they didn't have any flavor in it. So I got this. And it is so delicious. It is probably one of my favorite coffees I've ever had. And Alex was like, oh, that's Sarah's favorite, because he bought her some coffee and then he forgot to like pick it up or something. This was like when she still lived in California, because he was gonna buy her some coffee and send it to her. He's like, that's Sarah's favorite coffee. And I understand now, it is so good. I think it's coconut cream is what it is. It's cold coconut cream right now is what it is. I was seeing that a lot of people like tweet out and stuff tonight about how they're ready to move on to Christmas time now. I'm kind of ready to move on to Christmas time now too. I feel like I've done everything Halloween-y that I wanted to do. Like I feel like I did the pumpkin patch, I've watched the movies, I've read the books, you know, like decorated the pumpkin, carved the pumpkin, you know, ate the candies, got the pumpkin spice this. I've had so much fun this season, but at the same time, like I'm kind of ready to move on to the next thing now. But that's okay, you know? And I think that that's good and enjoying all of those things. I would rather feel that way than feel like I hadn't enjoyed any of like the holiday or the season, if that makes sense. Because usually it kind of comes in, not just Halloween, but any, you know, like summer or, you know, the Christmas season or whatever, seems to come and go. And then I didn't realize I was so low on gas. 67 miles to empty. At 50, the little buzzer will go off, and then that's when I really need to get worried. Actually, when I really need to get worried is when it goes off again at 35. People always ask me, they're like, how much money do you spend on gas? Because you drive around and do your vlogs. Like, I do spend quite a bit of money on gas, but I don't think it's always from the vlogs like people would think. Because if I vlog, let's say, an hour to an hour and a half, I really go like, because I kind of look at it, I go about, I mean, I'm not driving super fast, so unless I'm on the interstate, you know, I'm literally going about a 20-mile radius, maybe 15-mile radius, you know, in a circle or whatever. And so, I mean, 15 to 20 miles isn't that long, you know, or doesn't take up that much gas, you know what I mean? I have like 2 different kind of routes that I take. Tonight is Route B. Route B takes me through Zionsville, and then I come back up and go through Castleton, and then I usually get a Coke at McDonald's, and by that point I'm usually at like an hour. And then if I feel like continuing to vlog, I go in further. The other way takes me through Castleton and then Fishers and Noblesville, which is like the north suburbs. Well, they're all north suburbs, but they're different. This is different. Like Zionsville's west, Fishers and Noblesville are more east. And so I'll go that way, and I do like this huge loop all the way around, and that usually takes me about an hour as well. Sometimes I'll go like 20 minutes in one way and 20 minutes in the other way, if I really want to mix it up. I'll make it exciting. I'm kind of sad that my cousin isn't doing her chili dinner thing this year. And she hasn't done it for a couple of years. It was always so fun, you know? I always got so excited to see my family there. And it's weird now when I think of like my family as being just Caroline, you know? Well, on that side, on my mom's side. It doesn't really hit me very often. Like, I don't just sit around and, you know, like, get real sad on a regular basis, you know, like, oh my God, they're all gone. It makes me sad because, you know, obviously I miss them, but, I don't really realize it until it's like Halloween, and I'm like, oh, I used to go over to my cousin's house for chili dinner, and this woman's license plate in front of me says, "Wise Mom." I like that. But, I think, like, I don't know, you know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, those kinds of things, I always think about all of them. It's weird. It's, like, very weird to me, you know? I guess I don't even really know how to explain it. It just... But, you know, last year was kind of like, we didn't do anything as a family last year because my uncle was so sick. And the year before was when my aunt was so sick and she passed away. So it's like year after year is getting further away, you know, from us all being like a family like that. I don't know. And then I think you realize your own mortality. You know, I remember when my grandma passed away and I asked my mom later how she felt. And she said, well, first of all, orphaned, you know, because her dad died when she was 4. And she said, and then, you know, I also felt like I'm next. And I think you do have a feeling of that, especially when the majority of, I mean, I've lost a lot of my family rather young. You know, the fact that, like, my entire mom's side of the family, other than my cousin, one cousin, is gone. The entire side. And I'm 46 years old. Like, that's crazy to me, you know? Especially, like, with my dad. It's like, because it's so small on that side, too. It's just really my dad and my stepmom. Like, I've never really been super close to, I mean, I would say I'm close to my aunts and uncles on my dad's side of the family. Like, I love them. My relationship is very much from when I was a kid and I would go up there and visit them. Because they live so far away that it wasn't like we went up there and saw them, you know, every other weekend. I would go up there with my dad and we would go visit, like, you know, my grandma, and, you know, some of my aunts and uncles would come over or something like that, but we never went up there for a holiday. Like, I don't remember ever going up to visit my aunts and uncles for, like, Christmas or Thanksgiving. I just don't, ever. And, you know, we might go up there for like a day afterwards, but we wouldn't, my dad would never stay up there overnight. I mean, it's a 2-hour drive from Indianapolis. We would always drive back. And I think also, like, he did a lot of it out of duty, of feeling like he needed to, like, go visit his mom or, you know, whatever. He didn't do it, I think, because he just couldn't wait to be up there. I mean, he did not want to go up there a lot. You know, he would say that. He'd say that he was glad that he had moved out of there. But my dad's not somebody that loves small town living. He just isn't. You know, and Fort Wayne, where he's from, is really not a small town anymore. It just isn't. I mean, it's pretty big. But, so I'm just not super close to my family up there. Like, I mean, if I saw them, I'd be like, oh my God, it's so great to see you. And, you know, I mean, I have my one aunt and cousin who I'm real close to from up there. And that cousin actually lives down here in Indianapolis. So, you know, and then my dad has, his oldest brother passed away. I think I vlogged about all that. I was going to that funeral. And then he has 3 older sisters, and then my dad is the youngest. And both of their parents are gone, so. And I'm the youngest cousin of all of them. I'm the youngest cousin. So I have a lot of cousins up there, but some of my cousins are like close to my dad's age. Because my dad was so much younger than his brothers and sisters. I don't know, it just seems weird to me, you know? So really I have like my cousin, my dad, and my stepmom, and that's it. Well, I mean, and then Alex and his whole family, which I'm so thankful for, because that's really the family that we do so much stuff with, you know? And it's like, well, my family was so small anyway. It's like, well, did I really do a lot of stuff with my family? I did. Like, growing up, you know, with my mom and my aunt and my uncle and Carol, I mean, we did a lot of stuff together. I mean, we spent a lot of weekends over there, and a lot of weeks throughout the week. You know, we would go over there and have dinner and go out to dinner with them. So we did a lot, you know, growing up. And even as I was an adult, you know, we did a lot of stuff together. And also, like, my mom would just be like, oh, I went and saw Kathy today, and, you know, I hung out with her, and, you know, or whatever. So, I mean, it was always like they were a topic of discussion. I don't know, it's weird. If you've lost a lot of family members out there, you probably know how I feel. You know, sometimes I wonder, like, had I not met Alex, like, honestly, and I was still alone. I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day about, you know, before I met Alex, I wasn't really sure I wanted to get into another relationship. I don't love to date. It's not one of my favorite things. I'm not very good at dating several people at the same time. Like, going on a date with this person, I don't know, I just don't like that. I'm very single-minded about things. So if I go on a couple dates with you and I like you, I don't understand why we wouldn't just pursue that instead of me seeing two other people on the side. And I don't know, I'm not good at dating. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. And, you know, I just wasn't really sure I wanted to be in another relationship. I had been in two, you know, at that time, what were, to me, long-term relationships, one 5.5 years, the other one 6.5 years. And I just was like, I don't know that I want to be in another relationship, you know? But I knew that if I was going to date, like, if I was going to date, I was going to be in a relationship, because I don't enjoy just randomly dating. A real quick way for my feelings to get hurt are just randomly dating. Because then if I like somebody and then they're like, well, I've got another date I'm going on because, you know, people are real honest about that shit, then my feelings get hurt, and I'm just not good at that stuff. So I didn't do a lot of that, you know, I just never did. Because I kind of just always knew who I was, and I was like, well, I don't, like, this isn't going to be something that I'm going to enjoy, so I'm just not going to do it. And so it was tough. It was interesting. I watched this video today about YouTube couples. I'm going to talk about that in a second. Okay, I was trying to straighten it up, and then I had to turn around. So anyway, I was talking about relationships and dating, and then I said that I had watched this YouTube video today about YouTube couples breaking up, which I'm going to talk about in just a second, because it was well done. It was interesting to me. But, you know, I think about that a lot with, like, the dating and stuff, because I honestly, like, like, my dad and my stepmom would always welcome me for holidays, but they don't really do a lot for holidays. They just don't. Like, you know, they sometimes don't even go over to her family's for dinners and stuff. They just don't. Like, you know, I'll call and I'll be like, oh, are you going over, you know, and my dad will be like, no, we just decided to stay in this year, you know, and we're just gonna watch movies and make dinner here at home. So they don't even do stuff, you know, a lot of, like, Christmases, and, like, they'll either do Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, but they don't do both. You know what I mean? So if I hadn't, you know, started dating Alex and gotten in a relationship and married him, I wouldn't have a family to go do all this stuff with, which I think is why it's so important for me for Christmas and stuff like that. I don't even really know. You know, and Tanya usually, like, she and her husband, they have to work, you know, because of the kennel. I mean, the kennel doesn't stop, you know, and that's usually, any holiday is usually a really busy day for them. So, because people board their dogs a lot through holidays. So, you know, she's working, and then she drives over to, my husband is calling me. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. He was wanting to fill me in on his cousin and how she's doing. She's doing much better and doesn't have to have surgery. And so that's great. Fingers crossed, prayers that she will continue to improve. Anyway, what was I talking about before? I was talking about relationships and family, and I was saying that I don't really know like what I would do for holidays. And I'm sure there's a lot of you out there that watch this that are like, yeah, I don't really have anybody to do things with on holidays, because you know, every time I talk about this on here, I always get a couple comments that are like, I don't spend any holidays with anybody. But, you know, like Tanya, she and her husband, I think this is what I was saying, they, you know, they work on holidays, and then they drive back to where she's from, or where, you know, his family and her family live in the same town. So they'll drive back there and then come back in the same day, because they have to be back here, you know, for the kennel the next day. And so it's like they're not around for holidays either. I mean, I'm sure there are people that I could spend holidays with, but I don't know. It makes me wonder what my life would be like if I wasn't married to Alex, you know, coming up on holidays and stuff. And it makes me very grateful for the family that I have, because I think it would be sad, you know. And that's why, like, you know, when I was talking about in my videos the last couple days about, you know, family and getting along with family and this idea of what we want our families to look like, it's, you know, maybe you don't love every member of your family, and maybe some of your family drives you crazy, but at least you have family. Some people don't have any, you know. And I know a lot of people are like, well, I'd rather have no family than, you know. Well, when you've lost most of your family, that statement means a lot more, you know? I don't know. I think it's a hard thing. And now, you know, as, you know, Alex gets older and his brothers get older and stuff, its holidays look different, you know? Not everybody's doing everything together as a holiday, you know? You know, Fufu and his girlfriend live in California, and, you know, Carlos and Liliana are here, and his mom wants to go back and forth. And, you know, Alex's cousin, he has, you know, a cousin that lives in another cousin that lives in California, and a cousin that lives in Vegas. And so, you know, it's hard. I think everybody's like spread all over. And when I started dating him, everybody was here, you know, except for Carlos, but he would come home for holidays. Just different. Alex and I have talked a lot recently about, you know, like Christmas Day, leaving and going somewhere. Because I think after Christmas is really hard too, you know. I think people are off from work, and there's a lot of just like sitting around, and, you know, when you don't have a lot of people to do stuff with, I think it's kind of hard. Anyway, I was watching this video today, and it was by Trent and Luke. And Trent and Luke are this gay couple, and they used to live in the UK, and now they live in Australia. And I've watched them for a long time. They said on there today they've been around for 2 years, but I think that they've had to have been on there for a lot longer than that, because that means they would have started at the same time that I started, and I know that that's not true. I know that they were around for a lot longer than that. But, I guess they haven't really been posting videos for the last year. Luke moved, was it Luke that moved or Trent that moved? I think it's Trent that moved to Australia first and got kind of settled, and then Luke moved over there in the last couple months. And so they didn't really make as many videos as they were making before. And I think they usually post once or twice a week. But they did this video, and it was called something like, does gay YouTube couples break up, or something like that, or does YouTube break up gay? It was about gay couples on YouTube, but it really could be about any couples on YouTube. And it was talking about these couples, you know, that they have these public relationships, and then they break up, and it's so sad, and then they do these breakup videos and all this kind of stuff. And You know, it's interesting to me, like I was watching this video and they actually interviewed this one YouTuber, Vinny, that I used to watch, he and his husband, Vinny and Luke, and they like interviewed him and asked him a lot about like, they believe that social media and YouTube, or did he believe that social media and YouTube contributed to like the downfall of their relationship? And he was like, yeah, absolutely. You know, and it's different because Alex and I mean, like, Alex doesn't have a YouTube channel. You know, Alex and I are not a YouTube channel together. Like, he's in some of my videos, but it's not us together, if that makes sense. And so when you see that, like I've said this from the very beginning, that I was always going to show exactly what my relationship was like. You know, I was going to talk about the ups and downs. You know, I was going to talk about marriage counseling. I was going to talk about the difficulties that we have and, you know, things like that. And this one couple that they showed on there, whenever I've said in the past, I've always said, you know, these fakey couples on YouTube, like no couple is that happy all the time. Was one of the couples that had broken up, and I actually didn't even know that they had broken up, and because they weren't somebody that I watch regularly. When they started, I had seen a couple of their videos, but after that I didn't, you know. And don't get me wrong, like I think I was probably a little bit more direct with how I felt about it back in the day. Like, I don't know, it just really irritated me back in the day because I felt like they were giving a misrepresentation of what a relationship really looks like, if that makes sense. Because then I think people see that and they think, well, why isn't my relationship like that? Well, no relationship is, hey, how are you? Oh my God, we're so happy together. That is no relationship. You know what I mean? It just isn't. And actually, the couples that I know in real life that are like that happy at moments, that are like exuberant together, are also the ones, like if they are that joyous together, they fight that hard together too. I don't know if that makes sense, but like the highs are high and the lows are lows, if that makes, you know, or the highs are high and the lows are high, if that makes any sense. And I think it's sad, you know, that these couples broke up. And one of the things they said is that a lot of couples, like, they'll get together and be together for like 3 weeks and then they'll start a YouTube channel. I think that is true too. I've seen a lot of that happen in, you know, since the last couple years. I think this whole idea of being a couple on YouTube is very, it's very enticing to people. But I think that when you have any kind of business together as a couple, it's, you know, hard. And I think especially if both people are having, you know, so you don't just see, you have to remember, when you're watching a YouTube couple, you're not just watching a couple that films themselves on YouTube, if that makes sense. You're also watching a couple that is making business decisions together and like what content to put out and how they're gonna film it and when they're gonna film it and things like that. And they actually talk about that on there. They're like, there's a part when they're like driving around and they kind of get into this little argument, which I love. Not like a serious argument at all, but like a little argument. And they say something about, you know, like, we argue about like what videos we're gonna put out and whatever, and I don't know, it's sad, you know. And then it's like, I think, you know, like whenever I post a picture of like Alex and I on Instagram or whatever, people always put like, oh, couple goals, or you guys are so, you know, you're the perfect couple. We're not the perfect couple, okay? I don't know that there is a perfect couple, but that's flattering, thank you, I appreciate that. But when I get messages from people and they'll tell me that because I talked openly about going to marriage counseling, or because I talked about, you know, the different forms of intimacy, or working through problems, or the difficulties of a marriage, that because of that, they went to marriage counseling, or they got a book and started reading it together, or they started trying to change their communication patterns and really, you know, whatever, and fight for their marriage. Like, to me, like, don't get me wrong, the couple goals comments are nice, but like, that means so much to me. And I think the thing that people don't realize also is that when I get those really nice comments, you know, that what goes through my head is that there were days that I never thought we would make it here, you know? There were days that I thought that Alex wouldn't be in my life. And so to then be at a point where we're still together, and, you know, like, I remember when we first got together, and anybody that knew us back then, we would not have been the couple that was gonna make it. We just weren't. I don't think anybody would have ever bet that we were gonna make it long term. And I don't think either one of us was super serious about us being long term either, you know? I knew Alex was who I wanted to be with right away, but I also had I knew inside of me that he wasn't necessarily looking for the same thing that I was looking for, if that makes sense. So it wasn't like I was trying to fool myself into thinking that, you know, we were going to be together for 10 plus years. I mean, I never would have believed that. And I know like 2 other couples that started dating at the same time that we did. One's gay, and the other one's our straight couple that we were in their wedding and they were in ours, that are still together. And we all started dating like the same year. And all 3 of us are married now too, all 3 couples. But other than that, like, most of the people that I knew at the time that we hung out with, most of the people that we were friends with at that time, are no longer together. And I do think it's interesting that over time what's happened is we've kind of gravitated to our friends being married couples that have been together for quite some time, like Melissa and Jason. You know what I mean? Because we have a couple different friends that are couples like that, you know, that they've been together for 10 plus years. And I do think that's important. You know, I think that, you know, Alex and I each have our best friends on the side. And I think that if Sarah, I think if she was married or whatever, I think she would still be Alex's best friend and they would still go do stuff, if that makes sense. It would be very similar to my relationship with Tanya. I mean, Alex and Sarah have been friends now for, I don't know what, you know, 15 years, 16 years, something like that. So it's not like if she was married tomorrow, their relationship would change, I don't think. I mean, I'm sure it would change a little bit, but I don't think that, you know, they wouldn't be in each other's lives. So, not necessarily with that, but I do think it's important for couples to have friends that are couples. I think to go out to dinner and do things with them and go over to each other's houses and travel together as couples, I think that's important, you know? Especially if it's another couple that you respect the relationship. I mean, I have friends of mine that are in relationships that I don't respect. And, for one reason or the other, and it's not always both people necessarily, you know, it can. And what I mean by that is, I mean, whatever they choose to do in their relationship is their business, but that's not something that I would do in mine, if that makes sense. And so, you know, I think it's very similar in, you know, having friends that I don't know, if I'm friends with somebody that has a lot of goals and a lot of dreams, then they're achieving them and they're successful, then I'm gonna raise my bar if that makes sense to that. Like, I'm gonna push myself to be a better version of myself. If I have friends that just don't really do a whole lot, and, you know, they're great people, but, you know, they're not really, I mean, because I have different friends for different reasons, obviously, you know, as most people do, but, I mean, not like I pick them for different reasons, but, I mean, they're in my life, and I'm like, oh, this is, you know. But when I have friends of mine that are, like, they set their goals on, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or whatever, you know, and, I mean, Tanya is somebody that she always says, like, I'm going to do this, and she ends up doing it, right? Well, for me, then, when she's sitting next to me in my car, and I'm like, well, I want to do this, like, for her, she's very much, like, action-oriented. Like, well, what are you going to do to get that? And Alex is similar to that, too. You know, Alex is like, well, what are you going to do to get there? Or what are you going to do to make that happen? So when I have friends like that in my life that are cheerleaders, that are challenging me to be a better version of myself, then, you know, and accomplish my dreams and whatever, versus friends of mine that are just like, yeah, okay, you know. And I think for all of us, like, you know, if you're the friend that's just kind of like, yeah, okay, I mean, get a couple friends out there that, I mean, it's hard to be motivated all the time. Get a couple friends out there that will motivate you. Find a friend that, like, is just always doing something, you know, always, you know, they're chasing their dreams, and even if they're not accomplishing them, they're chasing them, you know, and I think that's important. I don't know how I got to that from this whole conversation talking about this video today. I don't know. The video was well done, and it was kind of like a mix between them, like, watching video, like, breakup videos and responding to it, and then, like, kind of vlogging. And then they also, at one point, they call Luke's mom and ask her if they think that if she thinks that their relationship has been affected by YouTube. And what she says is really interesting on there. And she's like, well, go watch the video if you, it's a long video. It's like 30 minutes long, but it's interesting. I think I watched it on 2x speed. One of the things they said in there that one of the reasons why they said that they haven't been doing as many videos is because, like, the one part of YouTube that they don't like doing is sponsored videos. They say this right at the beginning. And they're like, because it's so hard to, like, hide the fact that it's a sponsored video, basically. And so they're like, from now on, we're just going to come right out and say it's a sponsored video. Well, that's kind of what you're supposed to say. But, like, companies don't want you to do that. Like, companies of sponsored videos, they want you to make it like, oh my God, I've been playing this video game for years. I love it so much. You should go try it. And, it, you know, it seems just real fake, but... I feel like when you do YouTube for a while, on any level, you can kind of spot the fakeness a mile away after a while. I think maybe even just watching YouTube, I don't even think it has to be like, I think when you do film videos though, it's a little bit different, because you get kind of like, you see the comments back and forth, but it's interesting, like, they talk about fake relationships on YouTube, you know, and all these people that are having fake, do you guys know about this? Like, people are having fake relationships for views and stuff. I mean, this is, Shane Dawson just talked about this in his series with Jake Paul, but, I mean, I think it goes bigger than that. I mean, it's a lot of YouTubers that stay together for longer periods of time, for it to seem like they're still this couple together, you know, on YouTube. And then I was kind of thinking about Trisha and Jason, you know, and all these videos, and I did quite a few too, of people saying they were fake because they were, like, breaking up one day and then they were back together. And I thought to myself, well, in reality, like, that's more real than anything else. I mean, if I think about my friends in my life that I've had, you know, or even my own relationships, you know, back in the day, breaking up and getting back together the very next day, I think, or 2 days later or whatever, I think that's more realistic than watching a YouTube couple that's like, hi, how are you? Oh my God, we are so happy. We love each other so much. I mean, like, which one is more real to you? Do you know what I mean? Breaking up with somebody and then dragging them through the mud and then 2 days later being like, we're back in love again and we worked out everything. I think that is more real. And so I'm sitting there watching it and I'm like, you know, in the context of all of this, like, I think that's, you know, I think it's funny that they got all this criticism at the time. I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video about that. Maybe that'll be one of my drama comeback videos. People on billboards always look so happy, don't they? How many billboards do you see a night, Peter? Oh, 3,000. I don't know, but it makes me sad too. It's like, you know, you get an investment in a couple, or I don't even think it has to just be a couple, but I think it happens more with couples on YouTube, that actually this Vinny guy, V Squared, he continued his channel, and I think that's hard, and I give him, you know, props for doing that. I think he had his channel before too. They were together, I'm not sure. But what's interesting is that, you know, often when a couple break up on YouTube, they just completely stop posting videos. So it's like there's no resolution as a viewer, you know? It's like when your favorite show gets canceled and you never get to find out how it ends. You know that feeling? Like, that's how it feels a little bit. And I think the thing is that I think this is the hardest part of YouTube right here, is that it is real life to those people that are making videos. Like, when you start making videos and you're sharing pieces of your life and people are dissecting pieces of your life and on and on and on, I think the hardest part to grasp, unless you're the one sharing it, is that is your life, okay? Like, that is your personal life. Whether you're putting it all out there or not. Like, for me, I mean, I put everything out there. We all know that, right? Why does my coat keep on riding up like that? I have this pink shirt on underneath here, and I don't like it. And I know that it's going to show up, like, my face a different color if I post, so that's why I've been having it down. But I think the thing is that, like, I've been vlogging for longer than I thought. You know, like, I open myself up to that because I share so much of my life, right? Like, when I was talking about, like, I was having a hard time thinking of something about my mom and I that I hadn't shared in a vlog, right? Can you imagine Teresa Caputo, like, having to, like, watch every one of my vlogs so she could read me and know, like... But anyway, you know, I think we know that we're opening ourselves up. I watch a lot of people, you know, and some more than others, and what I've realized lately is I share a shit ton more about myself than most people. But that's just really who I am in real life. But the thing is this, okay, is that for me, like, this is my life. Like, this is my real life, okay? Which is what I called my vlog yesterday. I should have saved that title for tonight. Like, the stuff I share is real. You know, like, I was thinking about this today. You know, that all of these accusations that I'm the biggest liar in the world, right? Okay, well, people at that point, was that 24 minutes? What people are also really saying then is that, like, I mean, I've been sober for 23 years and 10 months going on 11 at this point, right? I work very hard on my sobriety. I've talked a lot about it on this channel, okay? Honesty and integrity and character are 3 things that go along with my sobriety. So when somebody is attacking me for lying about this or lying about that or whatever, they're not just attacking that, they're also saying that this is who you are as a person, right? So they're really coming for everything about me as a person. It goes much deeper than just, well, this wasn't true or this wasn't true or whatever, which they don't even know what they're talking about. It goes much deeper than all of that, right? So, which to some degree is why I'm like, and I may, which is why I haven't addressed it. But, like, this is my real life, okay? Like, when, you know, I talk about my relationship, or I talk about, you know, sobriety, or I talk about this, or I talk about that. It's like, this is my, that was so funny. I swore that I just saw Melissa at that stoplight, and she's calling me right now. That can't be her, because this would be like, why is she over here? I'm gonna pull in here and see if this is, let's see why she's calling me. I would think that she would pull in here if that was her. Oh no, that wasn't even her car. I'll call her after I get done. Anyway, like, you know, I put all this out, but this is my relationship, my sobriety, my friendships, my family, everything I talk about on here, all the stories, like, this is my life, right? But I choose to share it in the public forum. Like, I choose to put that out there, right? But at the same time, one of the things that I think you forget, like, on this side, when I'm making these videos and talking and whatever. Now she's texting me. Hold on a second. Let me pull in here. You guys are like, just get to the point. Get to the point. I'm trying to. Oh, shit. Call when you get a chance about Miami. The thing that I think that YouTubers forget sometimes, and even I do, okay, is that no matter what you're sharing out there about your personal life, at the end of the day, the person on the other side that's watching it, you guys out there, to a majority of you, it's entertainment, okay? End of story. It's entertainment. It's your way to relax. It's your way to wind down, to enjoy things. It's your way to relate to somebody, to learn something, to just hear a story, to laugh, to cry, whatever. It's entertainment to some degree, right? So when I'm sharing these personal things that to me are so personal, okay, but to many other people, they're just entertainment, I have to remember that, you know, I have to remember what that relationship is like between the YouTuber and the viewer. Because I was the same way, you know, watching other YouTubers, and I'd be like, well, I mean, it's entertainment, you know, like I'm watching a video that they chose to put out. And I gotta remember that, you know what I mean? I choose to put a lot out there. And that's just kind of who I am and general, you know, like I wouldn't change that. But I think like when it comes to relationships, it's like, I think the thing that's hard is people don't really like to watch couples fight on video. You know, like if you were a couple that were YouTubers, like when, okay, even like with Trisha and Jason, like they're a good example. Like when they would fight back in the day on kind of like on videos, like people didn't like to watch it. It made them uncomfortable, right? Like I think to watch couples, like really watch couples like argue is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable out at dinner. It's uncomfortable at family holidays. It's uncomfortable, right? So then to watch two of your favorite YouTubers arguing is uncomfortable. So what YouTubers typically do is they act like everything's fine, everything's great, we have the greatest life in the whole world, and then all of a sudden they're breaking up. And everybody's like, what the hell happened? Oh, we just decided to go our separate ways, but we're gonna stay best friends forever. We love each other, we're gonna be best friends, oh my God. And I don't know about the rest of y'all out there, but I do not wanna be best friends with my exes, okay? If y'all are best friends with your exes out there, you're better people than I am, because I just don't need to know like who my ex is going on dates with and how great it is. I don't need to know all that. I just don't, okay? I mean, hell, it's been so long since I've seen any of my exes at this point that it just doesn't even matter, but you know what I mean? Like, I just don't understand that, like, those breakup videos that are, you know, and like Alex and I, we talked back in the day, I said, would you get on video with me if it ever got to that point? He said, yes, I would. But I don't know what that video would look like. I have no idea, you know? I don't know. And now, like, in retrospect, I think to myself, well, maybe we wouldn't get on video together. Maybe I just would get on video by myself. You know, it was my channel to begin with, and, you know, but we're not breaking up, so. That video is not coming anytime soon. I don't think so, but at least I hope not. But you know what I mean? It's like, you watch these breakup videos, and I don't know, have you guys seen them? It's like a month ago, you guys were so in love, and then now it's like, I don't know, and that's where it's like there's a fine line between it being real life and entertainment. And is it real life or is it entertainment? And I think, whereas what's interesting to me about that is that I get accused of being such a fake, but yet I show so much of my life, and these people who show very little, okay, of their lives, out of the blue, just throw something up, and everybody is like, oh, well, what happened? And there's a whole backstory missing that nobody ever talked about on there, you know? And it's like, oh, okay, and he accepted at face value. So I don't know what the answer is. Obviously, the answer is to be fake and don't share shit with people on YouTube, I guess. But that ain't who I am, so that's not gonna happen, you know what I mean? It is what it is. But when you watch those videos, people are like, oh my God, I'm so sad, but I wish you the best. What happened? Like, every comment is like that. Because they never explain, like, what happened. They always just like, you know, we just kind of grew apart, and one day we realized that we both wanted different things. And they're like, yeah, and they're like kind of upset, but most of the time they're not really upset. And they're like, yeah, we just realized we wanted different things, and we didn't want the same things anymore. And he went and got an apartment a year ago. And you're like, he got an apartment a year ago, and you guys have still been filming videos every month acting like you're together? Are we gonna talk about this for a second? Can we talk about that, please? God. Have you guys seen any of these? They're just a lot sometimes. So anyway, you know, it's interesting because the one couple that I, like, the reason why I started my YouTube channel, and they actually showed one clip of them in this video. They showed their wedding, which was Will and RJ. And on Shep 689. I loved their channel. I was so invested in their channel. They posted every day for 7 years. And I used to watch every video they put out. They did daily vlogging like I did, but they didn't do as long as I did. So their videos weren't like, you know, an hour. Their videos were like 7 to 12 minutes or something. And they would like pass the camera back and forth. So it would be like both, you know, RJ would film part of his day, Will would film part of his day, and then they would film it at the end. But they broke up, and Will put it on Twitter, and then RJ put something out like, I can't remember how he said it. Will's was very nice. Will's was like, just kind of announced it. And then RJ kind of reiterated it, but you could tell there were some feelings there. And then they haven't said anything about it. I mean, nothing has been posted on their YouTube channel. Nothing. Nothing. And Will very rarely posts pictures on Instagram because I follow him and I will go in there and look every once in a while. And RJ posts pictures, but there's not really a whole lot there. And then it makes you wonder, like, well, what happened? You know, and I think, honestly, this is where the real world part comes in. They don't owe that to us. They just don't, you know? But I think from the viewer side, I mean, I used to wait every day because they would post their videos every day at the same time. They stopped posting videos daily about a year before all this happened. But I would like watch their videos like at 3 o'clock, I think, or 5 o'clock, or whenever they would post them. They post them at the same time every day. I can't remember now, but you know, you get invested in that, and then it's like one day they're just gone. It'd be like if tomorrow, like, I never posted another video, I never tweeted out anything, I never posted another picture on Instagram, or I privatized it. Nobody, I mean, like, people wouldn't wonder, like, what just happened? Like, you know what I mean? But then I also wonder, you know, like, and they were actually a couple that I feel like shared pretty honestly on their videos. Like, I feel like they really shared honestly. Like, they weren't like, hey, how are you? I mean, they showed the trials and tribulations of their life and their relationship. If they were irritated with each other, you could tell, you know. If they were happy with each other and having fun, you could tell, you know. Like, I thought they were a good representation of a real relationship on YouTube. They were part of the reason why I always said that if I ever, you know, got on YouTube, that I was gonna show what it's like to be in a relationship, you know, all this kind of stuff. And I don't know, it's interesting looking back on that but like I said, they don't owe that to us, right? I just like looked at the thing and it says like 11:47. I'm like 11 minutes and 47 seconds that I've been filming. I'm like, how long have I been filming now? Okay. Because I don't know that I want it to be super long for you guys on a Monday. Although you guys seem to like the super long ones. Okay, 24 minutes. About 24. It stops at like 23 minutes and 40 seconds, sometime around there. Sometimes a little bit shorter anyway. Do you guys remember back in the day when my camera would overheat? I was thinking about that today. I was like, now I got the battery that dies on me. Back then I had the camera that overheated. Thank God I don't have that problem anymore. Okay, 24. Let's just be fair and say 23. Okay, 23. I stopped it before that. I wonder what time I stopped at. 20, 21. Okay, so 43, 53, 50. I'm at 55 minutes of vlogging already. Shit. If you guys look at the time and it's right at 55, I am so good at math. I'm horrible at math. This person in front of me has all of these bumper stickers on there. Beatles bumper stickers, Grateful Dead bumper stickers, Rolling Stones, Coexist. Some of the things I don't know, Batman. There's like an Einstein one going. I used to have all these bumper stickers on my car when I was in high school, and they said things like, I had all these, you know, we would go to Earth Day and all of these things, and I would get all those, like, you know, I mean, I thought I was a hippie back then. So I would get all the bumper stickers that say all the, you know, wonderful little sayings. I'm trying to think of one now and I can't think of one. They obviously had such a profound effect on me. God, it's really windy outside tonight. So, what are your exciting plans for Halloween? Are you guys gonna have cider? Are you gonna watch scary movies? Are you gonna do anything? Oh my God, it's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. It really is gonna be a fun day. Because we will do the trick-or-treating with the kids and then go over to Melissa and Jason's. I wonder what we'll watch that night. We used to always watch the Roseanne Halloweens. It's starting to rain a little bit. I really wanted to watch Disney's Legend of Sleepy Hollow, you know? And I looked it up on YouTube and they don't have it. I couldn't believe it. But I will tell you something that I looked up on YouTube, and they have the whole movie. And I can't remember what it's called now. It's something like I'll Be Waiting for You, I think is what it's called. And it's with Sarah Chalk, who incidentally was on Roseanne, and also in Scrubs, which I did not watch. But it's about this girl that moves to like Salem or I don't know, some town, and these kids in her class, it's like a made-for-TV movie, but I loved it. They're like descendants of Salem or something. I can't remember how it all goes, but they're like descendants of these people that killed the witches, and they think she's a witch, and so they're like trying to like befriend her to try to kill her. I can't remember why they think she's a witch, but anyway, I remember this one part, they even make her like the psychic at like the school Halloween fair or whatever, and then they think like she's really doing for real readings and all this kind of stuff. But it's called I'll Be Waiting for You. You can see the whole movie on YouTube. So if you're looking for a scary movie you haven't seen before, it's good. It's really actually pretty good. Of course I was messing with it again. Anyway, you can get the full movie on YouTube. I'll Be Waiting for You. I think that's what it's called. I always get like 2 or 3 words wrong about whatever it is. Wild Birds Unlimited. Do any of you out there have birds? I've had a couple friends in my life that have had birds. I think they're kind of sweet, honestly. I don't know how I feel about them as pets, but I mean, I think birds are sweet anyway. Did you know that hawks are like a sign between the living and the dead? They're supposed to be like, they can go between the veil of the living and the dead. Did you know that? I did not know that. Somebody told me that back in the day. I might not. Sunday nights late are not great nights to do live streams because most people are like in bed for work or getting the kids to go to sleep, so a lot of people can't come in. But I also always forget that like I'm on one time, zone, and a lot of people are like 3 hours behind me, or people that are in Australia or getting up, so I always kind of forget that people aren't just on the exact same time zone that I am. It's like starting to rain more. Can you see I'm like turning the windshield wipers off and on? Why don't I just leave them on? How's that for an idea? Anyway, I'm excited for this week. I'm so excited for Halloween. I hope it doesn't like pour down rain though. That's the only thing I don't want. Because then that's not fun for the kids to go trick-or-treating, I mean, I don't really care, but for them, it makes me kind of sad. It's not fun to, I mean, it's one thing to be in this, like, have a little snow or, a little, not maybe rain, but have rained earlier than stop or whatever, but to have a full-on downpour on Halloween, that is no fun. I actually can't remember any time that's happened. I'm sure, in 46 years, I'm sure it has had to have happened once, don't you think? Or is that a scientific phenomenon that it is never downpoured in Indiana on Halloween while I've been alive? Okay. I'm gonna pull in here to the Rickers and get some gas. The Rickers. I'm gonna tell you what the weather's gonna be real quick. Not that you care, right? Okay, pull up weather. Day. Oh, it's supposed to get warmer on Tuesday. 57 tomorrow and sunny. Tuesday, 67. and partly sunny. Wednesday, 58 and thunder showers. 49, 50, 49, 55, 50, 55, 53, 40. So it's basically the same temperature, same weather, rain, sunny, back and forth that we've had for the last 2 weeks. Basically, this is fall in Indiana. So, anyway, I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday, and let me know what you guys are going to do on Halloween in the comment section below. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.